everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing a deck that I've hit Mythic with before, even though we're not necessarily in Mythic here now. It is kind of the start of the season when filming this, but this is a list that was kind of developed by Mythic Mike. It might not be the exact 60 that he played, but it's kind of around that ballpark. Anyway, we haven't got a lot of skeletons to flex into this, but it is a skeleton aggro / enchantment build where you want to be playing around a scavenger if you can, with kind of all the nice enchantments that you have, and then rely on Corpse of the Lost for your top end, and hopefully cast a Battlefront to find every piece you need after that, along with using a card like Nowhere to Run to make your removal really solid and good so you don't have to overpay for it. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and dive into the games and just see how they go. Yeah, seems good. One of those hands that it feels like if you can't win with this hand, your opponent got pretty fortunate, or you just like bricked and drew only lands for the rest of the game. Much that I think we just ignore that. Because if I have to, I can just seam rip it, right? Even if they shelter by ghost it next turn. We're just so strong on the board. The only problem, I guess, with shelter by ghost is they will answer the 2/1 most likely, just because that does take it out permanently. Although if they just upgrade this, it might be more profitable to just like, I don't know. Raphael, so it's the ping deck. So Shelter by Ghost is not going to be a card that I'm really involved with. This is going to grow larger anyway, so we put a counter here. Play Concealed Courtyard. Also, the lands are flowing right now. And now we swing a big 9 at them. Take it down to 9. Most likely looking to maybe flood the board here, but this deck doesn't get a lot of flooding the board opportunities. It's more about when they attack anything else. And if you're playing like Boros and you're kind of put on the back foot anyway, it's just find yourself in a tough spot. It could be a situation where there's like a Burst Lightning or two. Like Burst Lightning / Burst Lightning adjacent, where they're able to answer a couple creatures, and then we're in a weird spot, and they would do that most likely in response to the most helpful Weaver, because you just want to have that type of response. We'll take 1. We answer the Sharpshooter. If we're to ever answer anything, the reason for that is because Raphael is a legendary. There's no way they can attack. At least I don't personally think so. Deal. There's just so much pressure coming across the board. Fanatical Firebrand can like shoot something. Also, by the way, if you notice how I said we lose this game, we have now ripped basically every land in a row. I'm okay with Forsaken Miner dying here. I want to give this double strike, I suppose. The reason we're okay with the Forsaken Miner dying is because I commit a crime by casting Seam Rip, and I'm not going to get lethal here anyway. And if they do block like the Forsaken Miner to kill it, or like maybe it's like block or block, ping here, like they definitely have to block this. They can sack it to shoot me for 1. I don't know if they're willing to take 6 here. I didn't think so. It looks like they're going to pop this to shoot this creature. They're kind of in the same boat of like, oh, I know that that's a problem, so I don't want necessarily to deal with it that way. You end up losing a creature here, but we do get to pick up the Fanatical, or the Corpse. So because we're going to pick up the Corpse, I want to play this tapped. And again, this is legendary, so we want to answer this guy. So they can't put an additional Raph and Mikey into play. And we'll take that. We'll go to 12. Oger could be played here, but that's not enough. We'll have too much power across the board. You really have to play 2 creatures, or a creature plus a Burst Lightning, or removal adjacent spell. And just being on the play awards us the opportunity to win. Obviously, I do think like a Shelter by Ghost or something would help that as well, but we did flood, but fortunately enough for us, we got there. It's kind of those situations where you flood. If you don't get there with what's in your hand, you're just like guaranteed to lose because you'll fall behind. They'll generate pressure. I am at 12, and we're good though. So we'll take it. Normally I'd be pretty okay about this, but this land is kind of hurting us quite a bit. I think I can mull for a better hand, and I would agree that this is a better hand. I don't really want to put the battlefront back, but I feel like it has to be the battlefront. I mean, I have to hit 2 lands, and I flooded last game, so it always kind of feels like where you flood, you know. Probably gonna have to shock this in. We don't know that for sure, but I'd rather just get it in and down and get it going. Maybe mono black. We're on that. Combat. Big pop. Go here. We hit a land against probably blue-black if I actually had to guess. If they're going to remove anything, they should remove the token. The Forsaken Miner can always come back. It's always kind of scary. I would assume this is blue-black, seeing this. But, I don't know. We don't really have to worry about counter spells outside of spell snare. Oh. Yeah, so it is blue-black. Ah, we miss. Unfortunate. But I'm not going to risk putting a Shelter by Ghost on it. I am going to flood the board here, though. Hopes to have ripped this. But like I said the turn before, if they stock up, they might lose, actually. Is that a 3-1? So I go here. Go here. Here to here. Am I short by 1? I'm short by 1, I think. Or 2. If I hit a land. Okay, I felt like we had it anyway. There's not a lot of board wipes for 4 mana, at least that I can think of. So we get it. Very cool. Well, the last game. So the game 1, we drew every land. Game 2, we only had 2 lands. Game 3, which is what I was talking about in the game prior, weirdly enough, I did only end up having a 1 or a 2 lander that again I drew 5 times and didn't hit another land and just slowly lost. But you know, it is what it is. Can't block here. What do I really want to take out here? Kind of sucks because obviously I'd like to play a second scavenger, so my seam rift's really good, but I can always just do that next turn. Go here to here. Or this. Obviously going to try to grow our scavenger. This can't block, so it feels kind of useless. But also you could argue the opposite, where like maybe you pump this because it can't block and they're forced to maybe block it later. Lightning Strike seems like the play. They're going to attack with Higher Claw, see if I'm dumb enough to block. So they can just pump it up and then kill my scavenger without casting a spell, but obviously I'm not going to do that. Common cards like Shelter by Ghost are in our deck. So now we force them to use a spell towards our creature. Now they have a second spell, it seems like. Has Menace. I don't know. Do I just try to turn the table? Like, just turn this game around quickly? Maybe not. I'm going to opt to go the other way, though, here. I'm going to pump this guy. Probably what I should have done in the first place, because you notice, I guess I wasn't going to block anyway. And, like, this is equally as effective with the Shelter. It can't necessarily block, but it just becomes this massive threat that would gain life. Here. This last card, a pump spell. We will probably throw our 2-1 in front of the challenger just to force them to do something. Oh, wave 3 damage. Okay. Efficiency on our spells. Can now put you to 3, which seems good. now we're just kind of hoping here. Do this. Puts him in range anyway, and then it allows us to double block here if it's something like a bolt wave. Then they can pump, and then they can bolt wave, pump, and then it'll deal 4 to me. They don't have it. Okay. Yeah, so bolt wave would put me to 5. I at 8 or I at 7. I'm not gonna look actually. We'll take it though. It's like kind of hard to argue with 2 corpses. My curve being good. Also, you always kind of shock here over playing this, and the reason for that is this will deal the same amount of damage, and we'll have to shock this in anyway. We take 4 over taking 2. It's in there, buddy. Shocked in to for what? What? Wait, what? Why did shock in? They shock for spell snare? I think that's what they shocked for. But that's not how that works. It'll work like that. Is a skateboard? It is. It's a skateboard. Our opponent is now tanking to do literally, sure, bro. I don't know. Are you removing this guy? Are we not removing this guy? You literally shocked for a spell snare when you were on the play. That's crazy. Okay. There's no other, like, there's no other play, right? Like, that had to be it. At least in my mind, it had to be. Sure. Are we playing Oculus? Or is this just a Spell Slinger guy? Probably a Spell Slinger deck, right? Is it Spell Slinger? This will be 3 cards in their graveyard. So, 4 probably, if I had to guess. Oh, 2 lands. Okay. I don't know if I have to shock these in, so I'm just not going to do that. I don't have to. Put 6 on them. Put them down to 12. Go on. Let them know how you feel. So it's 5 and 2 for 7, so it's reduced by 3. So a land does it, but it enters tapped and stuns 2. Not stun, I guess, but taps 2. I can also play another corpse and get it active. So currently it's available. Every spell that's 1 mana is neutral. So they can cast 2 more 1 mana spells and then play it for 2. I think if it's 5 and 2, I believe, because now they have 4, so it's reduced by 4. So they need 3 mana. Sure. Target creature gains a double strike. Am I jamming this? Or am I trying to jam this? I think I'm jamming Battlefront here. Against the spell snare. Oh my gosh, bro. Wait. Hold on, pause. Hold on, pause. I have lethal twice. Oh, pause. How many corpses of the lost? Like, how can we find so many lost? You know what I'm saying? Oh, bro. This is supposed to be just a quick 1-2 punch, and the opponent's like, can I stop that? What, you bounce the double striker, you block, you lose your creature, then there's 2 crazy creatures in play. And then we can play another corpse. It's so sick. Opponent's first. This seems like not a bad hand. It doesn't seem necessarily that crazy. Play this guy. Life gain. Okay, so we should be fine. Shelter should be strong here. I do lose to like creature shelter, probably. Even though I do have a nowhere to run, I guess maybe I don't lose to that. They pre-gamed action and then didn't. You had to select the pre-game action. Like, pre-game, do this, then do nothing, go. They're like, whatever, bro. Sure, I guess draw a card. That's fine. I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad at all. I am not mad at all. I'm a little mad, but like, I'm not mad at all. I kind of want to shelter this. Like, the problem is the amount of life gain they're going to gain off that is crazy. And the Vanguard doesn't necessarily get bigger here, so take this out. Although, I guess the argument, if we are afraid of shelter, maybe I have to take the threat. They could just play another 1-drop and then shelter it. They play plenty of those. But if they shelter here, I have Seam Rip for it. So I guess this is actually the right play. Although, well, they don't gain the life. They don't gain enough here. So I guess it's what? Nowhere to run. Get Yanni. Then it's... I don't even want to Seam Rip it. I just want to attack here, I think. If they play like another Pride Mate or something, I can always put it into Seam Rip. I'm not going to outgrow a Seam Rip. I would like to nowhere to run it personally, but the problem with nowhere to run is they'll probably grow a little large here. Yeah, here's the shelter that we were asking for. And we also Seam Rip the creature here because we don't want them to be able to get their shelter by this back. So we go... But we don't get our shelter, obviously. Although I could just answer all their creatures, but then they play this. I would like to know where to run that over anything, I guess. I guess I could answer the shelter. The creature, well, the creature keeps gaining them life, right? How did I do this? No, I have a nowhere to run. I don't have to pay anything. It's in play. I was like, wait, my nowhere to run sucks. And I was like, no. Let's see. To let all this resolve, we want them to either cast a creature or go to combat here. Answer this. We don't really care about the... We do care about the life, but kind of don't. Because we're going to be able to knock them well below it this turn. By putting them back to 22. What an epic battle this has become. Another one of these is going to be good. If I hit a land, I mean, we just explode onto the board. But that's going to be bad if that's a shelter. Vanishing Light? Okay. It's already kind of bad. Well, that's pretty good too. So they're empty-handed. We're on the prowl. And there, the Skellies are ready to strike. We do have pretty good top decks. If it's a land, I feel like we win. Like, okay. Oh, wow. What a draw, dude. Sometimes you just have it, sometimes you don't, you know? Here's a lot. Here's 20. Yeah, you have to double block. They just have no choice here. What draws, dude? That's such a lucky game. When people talk about how variance wins you games, this is literally how. There's nothing this takes. It just doesn't matter. They go up to 5. I'll just move to combat for you. Why stay? Like, why stay? You're like, all right, yeah. I go straight to combat to be nice, and they're like, actually, no, I'm gonna concede before. Like, okay. Oh, they got me. They got me good. Now gone full circle. Back to the flood game. Back to the flood game. Play this first. Always like to get this one cooking first. You know, you could argue maybe you were supposed to play this one first because, like, if they remove our creature, it's most likely that this ability will get better. I've always just liked playing this one second. Or first on turn 2. I guess is what I wanted to say. We'll see. On to play. No 1-drop, no corpse. I've only had 70. Oh, okay. I've only had 70 of these this session alone. Although Omniscience tap stuff is going to be kind of tough to deal with, I think. For battle rage, I think. We have to shelter this, fortunately. Vibrance can't come in and answer this. So this is where we just play this tapped. And we shelter, and then we hit them for a ton. Fortunately. I say unfortunately because it's only 4 power for 2 toughness, so just like a burst lightning can answer this with the land drop. Oh, that can't help. I think I can blow up my shelter. Maybe that's their plan. Oh. Let's go Sanctuary so we can attack next turn. Let's jam a corpse. I mean, I don't have nowhere to run. I would be holding it up for a Kona here. But if my opponent combo wins, they combo win. There's not a lot I can do about it. On the 3. It is what it is. I don't feel like we can let Ashling live there, unfortunately. And I'm at 31. I will gladly pay that. Tap land. Pass. Probably should have just brought up my land, I guess. But hopefully I can go wide enough with all this stuff. It doesn't matter. I guess this technically makes more creatures, right? But Kona, thankfully their mana was tapped. Oh, well, they got me. Just nothing I can do. And maybe that's why I bring that up, I guess. I decline. They got me. Fire Magic is not a card I think that I'm ever playing around in best of 1. Just has a lot of bad matchups. But there it worked, you know. Good blowout. Maybe I am just supposed to, but then the difference is like it's at 3 toughness, right? But what's the difference? I get cooked on it, right? Still, I think this is Kona. I think. Yeah. Like how the timer hit for a millisecond and then like immediately went away, and then my opponent's in the thing again. Oh, go to the side, grab it. What can I even get here? If I rip a 1-drop creature, I can win. Yes. Okay, wrong 1-drop, I guess. I think I wanted to land here. I'm making more mana every turn, so obviously we're just gonna go that route. No attack. Action, take action. Grab your counter from the side and win. I don't have enough mana to buy so Technically, I think if I rip a shelter... No, I'm still one short, right? Yeah, because I only have 5 mana. So if I had ripped a shelter, I could... Well, would I have to pay? No, because I wouldn't have a hasty creature, right? Yeah, I think no matter what, I ended up 1 mana short regardless. That green. Is this not Kona combo? Guess I just don't know what it would be. Fire magic cost 3 mana? What's that? Oh. I mean, I have 3 creatures coming in. Or, not 3 creatures, I guess, but that'd be kind of cool. If it was 3 of them. They could double bounce spell. And that would work. Or, wow, what? Like, whoa. What? That's... Maybe they thought they wouldn't get a turn. You know, maybe they thought they were going to get the Ashling for 1 more turn. Maybe they did it differently, and then I end up answering this, leaving this guy. It's kind of crazy that they went to a 15-card sideboard, and then their response was stuck. Like, did they grab this? Maybe they didn't put it in the side, because this is on B, so it has to be a Kona deck, right? At least I would feel so. But do you put Kona in the side? Probably not. So maybe they just didn't. But yeah, earlier, if I would have ripped the shelter... One of these was in play, but I just didn't have a skeleton to play it shelter. Like, if I would have had the 1-drop skeleton in hand, obviously I end up drawing this, I think. If I would have had the 1-drop skeleton in hand, we could have played it. Of course, if we rip shelter, but we play this, we shelter, we absorb this, and then we seam rip, take this, and because we had a Corpse of the Lost in play, we would have had haste, and we would have got there. Obviously, you know, eggs in one hand, and I can't say that maybe on you. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it. Okay, so not necessarily a long one, but yeah, I mean, this deck is still just dominant. This was made by Mythic Mike, of course. At least a majority. I don't know if this is the exact 60 that he made, but I know that for a very long time on his channel, this is what he was working on. So, I mean, the credit kind of goes to him, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The thing is, it's so hard to make like a long video on this deck because you kind of get to see everything it really has to offer in a very short span. It's just kind of like, how many games do we want to find where we kind of just play 1, 2, and 3 drop, or just try to do that and get blown out? Fortunately enough, we had a pretty good win rate today, so it worked out overall well. But also, I feel like 2 of those matches are just probably losses any other day I queue up. Or like, just the variance is just the variance, right? It swings so hard because the argument is like, I hit 2 Corpse of the Lost in the 1 game to have literally all 4 copies, but is it different if it's another corpse and a shelter, or is it like a case and a shelter? Is it all that different? Maybe not entirely sure, but either way, obviously won the games, and that's all we can really ask for when it comes down to it. And being positive on a deck that I've hit Mythic with before, I feel pretty confident in overall. Just like Mono White, I think this deck has those type of legs, but if I was playing budget, Mono White would probably be where I'm at, and if I was just playing on the ladder. But this is a good deck to kind of go with it if you want a little bit of variety and you kind of can afford the mana base, or you've already afforded the mana base and you want to add these in. It's just obviously all commons or uncommons, and then rares, and then your mana base, which most likely, if you're playing any aggro decks, you're going to have these, or you probably need them eventually anyway. And I would recommend getting the shock lands over the fast lands. The fast lands will rotate out before the shock lands will, and same with like this. So recommend that. Also, slow lands are coming for some of the colors, which means typically they'll come for the next set, or we'll have to wait another set because of the Universes Beyond. Kind of makes those a little bit weird sometimes. With that said, I hope you all enjoy, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.